for our pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Freeman?
Yeah, we have a few changes to the agenda. Underneath the elementary student report, we're actually just going to have the Ron Clark presentation. And as you see by the colorful group of kids here, I'm really excited about that. And then also right after the high school report and before the SB awards, we're going to have a play update that Ms. Cole will present to us. So those are the two changes to the agenda.
Madam Chair, I would like to add to that and like a moment to speak about yesterday. So if you don't know, there was a tree and debris across Highway 138 yesterday, shortly after school let out, and a bus got stuck behind it and could not, the one that goes to Diamond Lake, and was unable to proceed, and we had 9 students, is that correct?
Yeah, actually, it was 10.
Oh, 10,
But
okay.
one student was received right as they got off the bus, so that's how we ended up with that.
Okay. And scary stuff. And I want to, as soon as I found out about it, I called Robert and got informed of what the situation was. And I want to recognize Brent and Tammy and Robert for jumping on that very quickly and taking care of things. I called too late, and I had known about it for 11 minutes, I think. It would have happened about 11 minutes before I knew, and offered to buy pizza for the kids, and because we didn't know how long something like that. If you've lived here for a while, you know those things can, there ain't any other way around, so it could be a long-term thing. And somebody already beat me to the punch on that.
Right.
And there was many other community folks that jumped in and offered to help. Made me very proud to be part of this community. Sorry, should have taken more vitamin B. And very proud of our team. So thank you all for that.
Here, here.
Thank you very much, Director Shaw, for that. I too want to commend our elementary principal, Tammy Beard, and our transportation maintenance director, Brent Harvey. They acted swiftly and promptly, and their number one priority was the safety and well-being of our students. They made sure that they were warm and taken care of, that they were fed. We really don't have a contingency plan for something like this, so we were kind of flying as time went by, but getting them food and keeping them warm bought time for us to think and make contact with the parents. Parents were scared and nervous, as I'm sure all of you would be if you didn't have access to your kiddos. But I was super proud of our school district and how they took care of our students, and it just shows, just like what Director Shaw was talking about, this community really, sad to say, but thrives when things happen. And there was so much outpour of support. We had individuals, churches. Once somebody heard about what was going on, they wanted to bring blankets and clothing and food and just all kinds of stuff. And we were actually overwhelmed. And and that's a credit to our community. So I know you included me on that, but honestly, that was Principal Beard and Director Harvey who did all of that. So thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I want to report that all the kids are safe. We had 2 kids that stayed the night with a staff person who's The staff people spoiled them rotten, and they were reunited with their parents first thing this morning when the road opened back up. So all kids are safe back with their parents.
Okay, it sounds like we're now moving on with the Ron Clark presentation.
Evening. I'm excited for us to present to you today. I have my student leadership team, and we have been implementing the house system at the elementary school for the last several years, and we're taking off. Last year we were able to take 8 kids to the Ron Clark Academy, and this year we took 14. So it was amazing. So they're going to come and share with you about their experience there and what they learned. Before I do that, Mr. Shaw, we know it's your birthday coming up, and you are in the house of Isabindi, and so my Bindi friend here has a birthday treat for you. So.
Thank you very much. Go Isabindi.
Good evening. My name is Thatcher Johnson, and I am from the house of Amistad. Tonight, the GES leadership is excited to speak to you about our house trip, about our trip to the House System Leadership Academy in Atlanta, Georgia. Our team has been fundraising for 5 months to help fund this trip, so we all had the trip so that we all had the opportunity to attend. Before we begin, we want to thank those who donated and gave a special shout who donated and give a special shout out to to Kristen Moyers. She drove us to the airport and in Portland, and it was an early morning and a late night. We couldn't make the trip without her. I also want to thank our adults who came with us on the trip, which were Mr. Roth, Miss Allison, Miss Corva, and Mr. Odell, and Miss Miller. They did a fantastic job keeping up with us and ensuring we had everything we needed the entire trip. After our arrival to Atlanta, we went to a place called Fox Brothers Barbecue, highly recommended by Mr. Freeman and Mrs. Beer. I was having a great time with all my friends, and I thought it was going to be like any other restaurant, but I thought wrong. The meal was fantastic, and we also went to Stone Mountain, where there was a huge carving of Robert E. Lee and Thomas Stonewall Jackson and Jefferson Davis, and our outcropping of granite. The monument to the south is larger than Mount Rushmore. We also were able to ride the gondola to the top of the granite and see for miles around. We also went on a train ride around the park with a funny story that they told us along the ride. Thank you, and I will be introducing Camden from the House of Pearls.
When we went back to the house after our trip to Stone Mountain, I was second guessing attending the RCA house party. But when we got there, I felt like I belonged. Everyone was heartwarming and welcoming. When we went inside, there was a kid from the Verb who wanted to hang out with me. He offered to get me a drink and a treat. He was just so nice. When I was done with my drink, he offered to throw it away from me. I also met another kid named Caleb from the House of Electricity. From the beginning, it felt like he wasn't my friend from another school, from another state in school. That was one thing that was so cool about RCA. I also enjoyed getting to know other students from other schools that attended. The rest of the things we did was awesome. When we got on the plane to go back home, I was pretty sad that we were leaving my school. I want our school to be a mini version of that school. Thanks for the trip, it was awesome. Now I will introduce to you to Laura from the House of Salvador.
Hi, my name is Laura Campbell, and in my opinion, I think that what the RCA did for the opening ceremony was super cool. They did a step dance on stage. There was no speakers or microphones, and it was just whatever they had going, and it was super cool. Then they would stop and make funny faces, which would really illustrate what was going on. Soon enough, Ron Clark came out, and he was talking about how they teach their kids to be leaders and not followers, and to never care what other people think until your opinion that matters. And I think that's so true, and we could definitely encourage more people like that. Thank you. And I'll be introducing Laura from the House of Photos.
When we just got to RCA and noticed all students there right as we entered, they were welcoming us in. They were smiling, clapping, and enthusiastic. And in my opinion, that really made me feel welcome. When we entered, I was so amazed, and just being there, knowing how their school started, when Mr. Clark started talking, I felt the magic of RCA. The students and Mr. Clark were hanging out with people and were very respectful, made me feel welcome. Like I was not a guest. It made me feel important, part of something, and made us feel welcome. Now I will introduce you to Olivia from the House of Salvador.
When we arrived at RCA, the first thing I noticed there was their school spirit and pride. It was amazing how much they supported everyone, even if they weren't in their house. It was inspiring. So now we're working on bringing their enthusiastic and supportive attitudes back to our school. Thank you for your time. Now I would like to introduce to you Larkin from the House of Nuclear.
What I liked about RCA was how they were so welcoming and nice. Also, when you made a mistake, they would say, "It's okay, you'll get it next time," and be very supportive. They even would be happy for others if they won or lost. Now I will introduce you Betty from the House of Nuclear.
Hello, I'm Betty, and in Georgia, we saw kids our age, and they weren't shy to raise their hand. They weren't afraid to get something wrong or to be corrected. They were ready to introduce themselves with a smile on their faces, ready to make a new friend. We also learned how to add anticipation in our stories and add leverage just raising our hands and voices by being quieter or louder. We learned to say hi and ways to introduce ourselves and ways to start conversations. We saw new ways to make friends. I think this was a great experience for us and will be for kids to come. Now I will introduce you, Bree from the House of Armaka.
Thank you, Betty. As Betty said, I'm from the House of Armaka. My name is Bree. This is my second time attending the RCA. But what I've really realized at both of the times being there, everybody was so respectful to their teachers and each other. I have definitely never seen a group of kids like this. And just walking around in the school, I could see how much potential our school could bring if we just practice it, some respect is like a character trait. It's definitely more needed at the elementary. If we can work on it and master respect, then I think we could have a mini version of RCA at our school. Now I have the honor of introducing my co-leader, Daphne, from the House of Honorable.
Being an example is important, but at the RCA, it's no big deal. Students there learn to be an example for younger students. In my opinion, that would be great to bring back here, and I imagine teachers agree. Even on our way to PE and music, or on our way to parent pickup, we are reminded that younger students look up to us, so if we're doing our very best, they will follow by example. Now I'm going to share with you a message from Corbin as he was not able to join us. What I really liked at the RCA was their enthusiasm. They would bring each other up no matter what. If you got something wrong, they would say stuff like, "Can I add on to that?" instead of "You're wrong." What also stood out to me was when someone clapped, everyone would clap so they wouldn't feel alone. Now I would like to introduce to you Tierney from the House of Altruism. Thank you, Daphne. As Daphne said, I am Tierney from the House of Altruism. At the Northern Family, we got to do a bunch of team building activities. That includes a game that our school won. One of the games we played was a card matching game, in which we ran across the field to another table and tried to memorize the order of the cards. We then had to run back and tell the other members of our team and try to put the cards in order. Then, after we finished, we moved on to an Amistad house puzzle. That was a little difficult. But after we solved that, we solved a Solidari slap puzzle. And after we solved that, we moved on to the first slide puzzle. That we solved in less than 2 minutes. It was really surprising. It was surprisingly easy. Since we won this event out of all of the other 6th grade teams, we had an individual event. We had to bounce a ball on a reverse wooden bow or keep a ball in a constant motion on a wooden ring. We had to do all of this while standing on an elevated wooden plank in the middle of the field. We competed until the last one of us was standing, and surprisingly, I won. So to wrap up all the games, I won as a team, but I won as an individual. We had a great time competing together beyond the games. What else surprised me was how respectful everyone was. When somebody was talking, nobody would talk. I mean, it was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. It amazed me at how high the standards were, and it really showed me how much integrity everyone had. Honestly, the most polite group of kids I've ever met. Thank you. Now, I have the honor of introducing Connor Miller from the House of Amistad. When we got to RC on the second day, we had many different fun activities. The one I'm talking about is one about public speaking. The teacher was very good and taught us a lot about how our moms play games on us. Plays games on us. For example, when we're slouched, we are sometimes are more nervous, but if you stand up straight, you can appear more confident in your mind. Let's not play games on you. We learned a little about how you don't always have to make direct eye contact, but you still can appear to be making contact with your audience by just looking out over the crowd
And finally, I would like to introduce Dylan from the House of Visibility.
As you can see, we learned a lot about how we want the students and the staff to feel about our school. We are working to develop our school on house spirit where everyone feels included, respected, and a desire to be a part of it. We are working as a leadership team to create ways to bring our houses together, to serve our community and more. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to sharing the great things we are doing as a school community. Thank you.
That was so amazing. Thank you for that presentation. We're all super proud of all of you. So keep up the good work. Okay. I believe we're doing is it our FFA presentation? Okay. Tyler Carlock?
Good evening, folks. My name is Tyler Carlock, president of the Glide FFA chapter, and this is
I'm Ariana Valor, and I'm part of the FFA chapter.
this year the Glide FFA chapter was able to attend the 97th National FFA Convention and Expo. There's a picture of us there at the Colts Stadium where the National Convention and Expo is held. Many things we were able to attend there at National Convention besides the Expo and convention itself. We attended Fair Oaks Farm. It's a really big cattle and dairy cattle and swine operation they have there. It's pretty cool. If you've ever heard of Fairlife Dairy Products, that's where it comes from, is Fair Oaks, Indiana.
We took a bus to go and look at all the animals and drive us around. That was just for the dairy itself, and then we actually walked around to look at and stuff. The next place that we visited was Wheatland Farm. So it was a popcorn farm. They would actually harvest about 3,000 pounds of their own popcorn, and then they would have about 10,000 that would have shipped to them. And it's just a processing plant of them just bagging their popcorn up and taking it across to the US.
The last place we got to visit was the biggest ram barn in Indiana. It had just recently got hit by a tornado, but it was a pretty neat experience. They're in the middle of kind of doing some rebuilding with it. On the top layer, they would put hay in it, and on the bottom, they would have cattle, horses, and I believe they said swine on some seasonals or some seasons, which was a pretty cool experience. The guy we met there, he is I believe it's a rye wheat farmer. He's pretty nice.
This was the fancy restaurant that we went to. It was St. Ambrose. It's been there since 1920, and it's just been the same place, and they've actually expanded it from what it was before. It was really nice. This was my first time ever going to a national convention, and I just loved it again.
Yeah, so that's the end of our slideshow, but overall, National Convention was a pretty cool experience that we got to have with our chapter. I think, me personally, we took 7 of us, and I think I was able to really connect with a lot of my chapter members and get to know them a little bit better, so I think it was a really cool experience. We would like to thank our advisors and our alumni for making this all possible for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
can be.
Can I stand over here then so I can see
Just push
everybody?
that button.
Awesome. I can
So
do
it goes
that.
green.
I can push that button. Oh, look at that.
Hey, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, you can
Awesome.
pick it up and everything.
Really? That's even better. All right. My name is Kathleen Carson Cole, and I am the Director of Theater for the District of Blythe. It has been my pleasure to do so for approximately 30 years. I've directed, I feel like, almost 100 plays now. It's very exciting. Every couple of years, can you not hear me?
You must have bucket is soft.
Trace, is it still green?
Betrayed. It's still green. Can you seriously not hear me? My voice is pretty loud.
It's
Okay, good. All right, so I was hoping that I could come and talk to everyone about attending the play that will open in December. I have directed all these plays. I'm going to be honest with you. This play is one of my favorite plays. I have directed it a number of times. It is very likely that there are many of you who have seen it before. It is called Playing Idiots. And Playing Idiots is a comedy. It's 2 acts. It's 8 actors. We feel so fortunate. Thank you. We feel so fortunate that we have a lot of really awesome students who are in our play right now. They try new things. They're fun to work with. They learn a lot of lines. And I was all excited because I was going to have them all come with me to talk about the play. However, I don't know if you guys know this, but one of the things we do at Glide is we send all of these juniors and seniors to an awesome trip of colleges. And so they take a tour to go to colleges. Well, that's more than half our cast. So I did not have a lot of people to go to be here today. But I would like everyone to welcome Jacinda. Come on, Jacinda. Awesome. Okay, so this is Jacinda, and her part in the play is the chef at the restaurant. And that's, oh wait. And I would just say she's doing an amazing job. She's never been in a play before, but we're really excited to have her on stage with us. And I was thinking, well, she could help me and talk about some stuff, but in the play, she doesn't say anything. So I'm still on my own here. Okay? So I'm going to come up with something brilliant to say because let's go with, raise your hand.
Wait. Officer Task here, Mounted Patrol Unit. I was walking through the parking lot and saw that I needed to give out some citations. If I say your name, please stand up. Robert Freeman, Tracy Adame, Tim Shaw, John Quimby, Janet Holland, Dan Metz, Tracy Powell, Caroline Standish, Jan LaRue, and Shelly Igzat.
What are these tickets for?
These tickets, let me get them out of my very official package. These tickets are for excessive support of Glide High School students and their programs. Willingness to spend an evening with talented people. I can't believe this. These are quite stupendous crimes right here. Failure to appear will result in a severe deficiency of laughter on December 11th, 12th, and 13th, and a profound regret when friends say how awesome the play was. So, now I'm going to call up the love of my life, Bernadette. She can't hear me, of course, but she's going to pass out some citations to you.
Officer Task, I want to thank you for your commitment and for being here for this wonderful evening. Thank you. Thank you.
My card.
Hey, we appreciate you. Okay. And so we have some complimentary tickets to our board members and people who are here and awesome. And we hope that you show up for our play. We hope that some of you show up for our play. It will be December 11th, 12th, and 13th. And it'll be at the classic Glide stage down at the old middle school. And I have been told that it's going to be super warm when that happens. So come on by, because it might be cold outside. It's going to be warm and awesome. up in our gym. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, that was amazing. Okay, I think we're moving on to the SB Awards. Yeah? I know, right? Okay, folks, we just want to let you know that we have structured things a little bit different this year. So before you go, after we've done all the awards, before we go on break, we need folks to come up here and get their t-shirts, okay? So don't forget that. You're the SB Award winners.
All right, I'm feeling a lot of pressure tonight after all of that performance. So I really appreciate everybody coming tonight, and so we will start out with the high school in 12th grade, and that is Gabe Winters. So Gabe's qualities really stand out in the kitchen during his On My Own class. He has a lot of patience for his peers and is always helpful, listens to instructions, and not only rocks with his musical talents, but can rock out a delicious roux as well. Congratulations, Gabe. Dan didn't give me the spelling on this one, but 11th grade, I hope I'm not getting this right, it's Kenneth Lee and Hospice. Oh, perfect. Kennedy works hard in all her classes. She is kind, considerate of others, and advocates for others. She is a prepared junior who will represent herself and the Glide School District well in any and all future endeavors. Congratulations, Kennedy. All right, for 10th grade, Cameron Taylor. Cameron is a quiet, thoughtful student with a strong work ethic and a natural curiosity. He approaches challenges with patience and care, offering valuable insights in both individual and group settings. Ready for the future, his dedication and reflective nature will help him thrive in any path he chooses. Congratulations, Cameron. For 9th grade, Charlie Hopkins. Charlie is new to Glide and has transitioned to be a Wildcat seamlessly. She works hard in class and is part of student leadership and is participating in athletics. Super excited that Charlie is here and has shown how awesome she is in such a short amount of time. Congratulations, Charlie. All right, moving to middle school for 8th grade, Stephanie Livermore. Stephanie is academically strong, creative, and kind to others. She does not involve herself in the drama that often seems to go hand in hand with middle school. Instead, she keeps herself and her friend group often branching out to say good morning to something else that or something else that is kind or thoughtful. I enjoy her artistic work that often shows up in classroom, and she is amazing with words, both on paper and in person. Exceptional describes Stephanie nicely, I think. Congratulations, Stephanie. For 7th grade, Isaac Adams. Isaac consistently shows attention to details in his work and has repeatedly shown interest in helping his peers to understand grade level studies. He acts responsibility when he is given an opportunity to lead and shows true compassion for the success of others. His confidence and eagerness to learn show that Isaac is a valuable member of the 7th grade community. Congratulations, Isaac. And moving on to elementary school, for 6th grade, Augie Stevens. Congratulations to our 6th grade SB recipient, Augie Stevens. Augie is a hardworking student. He is very conscientious about getting his work completed and turned in. Augie is always respectful and responsible, making him a model SB award winner. Congratulations, Augie. Okay, and if I get this wrong, for 5th grade, it's Isaias, okay, and Meneladek Zamra. I will read. Isaias embodies all the things that a successful student requires. He is present every day and always prepared while diligently seeking every task through to the end. He is courageous and doesn't shrink from a task because it's challenging. In fact, he embraces these opportunities, and his growth in all subjects is evidence of this. Congratulations. For 4th grade, Ava McAuley. Ava is my nomination. Ava embodies what an SB stands for. She has a strong work ethic, a positive attitude, is kind-hearted, and thinks of others first. All of these things put together make her a well-rounded person and a pleasure to have in class and in our school. Congratulations, Ava. For 3rd grade, Kason Stratton. So I'll say, we are proud to introduce our 3rd grade recipient, Kason Stratton. Kason comes to class every day with a smile on his face. He works very hard and helps others within the classroom. His class group contribution is greatly appreciated. Great work, Kason. For 2nd grade, Brisa Betancourt. Brisa is a well-deserving of this award. Her hard work and resilience are character traits embedded in her personality. I appreciate the way Brisa studies hard at home and is always up for a challenge. Brisa has a drive to be a true leader. Her morals and tenacity are seen daily in the classroom and on the playground. Congratulations. For 1st grade, Samuel Olson. Sam is a focused academic learner. He participates during math and stretches his math skills to come up with higher level thinking. He takes pride in doing neat work and is a good friend to others. While playing Gaga ball on Wednesday, I watched him help another student who was struggling and convinced others to give him a second chance. Congratulations, Sam. And then for kindergarten, Weston Rinkin. Weston loves to learn. He is always willing to work hard and show persistence, stamina, and perseverance in his learning and his academics, especially when topics become challenging. He is always a thoughtful friend and respectful to his fellow peers and teachers. Congratulations, Weston.
SP winners, please don't forget to come up and get your t-shirts. Also just want to give a shout out to Coho Pizza for always contributing and supporting our community. So thank you for that. And moms can come too to help pick out sizes.
Large, grandma large.
Or dads. Everybody, thanks so much for coming out and supporting our kids. What a great turnout to not be able to find a place to park.
I got my citation. I have to just pay the fine.
But I do have
Good job, Sam. Right, 2 for 2. I know, I got
Congratulations. I'm glad you did. Can I go in now or 30 seconds from now?
Sorry, I didn't do a very good job.
Yeah, it was only.
I was taking a video before, so I wasn't ready for the still. Thank you.
Hold on. I am here for now. That could change at any moment.
Is he same here?
A little bit, yeah. Close.
Yeah.
I got home like, supposed to do some of this crazy potato topping stuff last night. So ate a baked potato with this cheesy bacon, whatever it was. Just like, I wake up like, oh, it's noon now. I'm in the chair. I should probably go to bed. So a couple more hours. So it was good. Yeah, fun times.
Yeah, as soon as I get called back, I want to.
You want me to pay? Oh, you guys go with me?
Yes, just bring me whenever. Send me a little text and,
Yeah. Tammy's got to go with me. I need Tammy for, she's my emotional support principal.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't take around like.
It was, well, yeah, I thought it might be literally ended. Well, last year I was not really all the good times. In bed with OEA. Well, and it's good, yes. And I mean, some of it, I guess, you can't change it.
Exactly. So we got 17 new members in the rural caucus because of that. We had overflow meeting. It was awesome. I sit at a little kid table just because we had so many people.
Oh, you're crazy. That's funny.
Meetings. It's all online because we're all over the state. But we had two unofficial meetings about business meeting. Well, I guess technically it's one meeting, a business meeting, and then we had like a workshop, so we had people talk about issues and right, and so, and it was just packed. So the more we, it was great.
So I just want to say, when we got here, we were 8
Yeah, so twice.
I know.
he kept losing his spot.
Because it was, yeah, that would actually be great if you wanted to.
I was looking up and all my kids, they was like, love it.
I know.
Breaks go back quick.
Late twice in one night.
I'm amazed at you.
I'm glad you made it.
Ah, it's all good. It's really fun. Just close the road once in a while. No big deal. I thought your job was to keep the road open. So we do a heck of a good job of that. We just gotta convince Pacific Corps and others to come do their part. And that's the challenge.
Is it open now?
138's open, 230 just closed, so.
Wow.
Because we're the Wild West. It's a weird world over in. We don't have any law enforcement present. There's no patrol, there's no nothing. In the summertime, we see an uptick. We have motorcycle riders that get up, take their helmet off, ride around because they know there's no law enforcement. Well, we also have commercial vehicles that decide, I need to chain up. And nobody's gonna pull me over. So then they're stuck sideways in the road and then we're pulling them out. And then there's 5 more stuck behind them. Then we end up closing highways because they don't follow the rules. So that's why 230 is closed, President.
Yes.
The student body. That's the student body. What's the ASB associated?
And 138 wasn't a tree issue, it was a power line issue yesterday. If you're wondering how that all went down.
That's what I figured.
We
That's what I was
couldn't
trying
get-
to told. Also heard there were slides too, not just trees down.
Now we didn't have any slides, but it was just power lines. Couldn't get, Pacific Corps showed up and then they had to leave and then couldn't get them back until 5:30 this morning. So.
Are we all ready to mosey on? So I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Yeah, no worries.
I got it.
I'm good. To approve consent agenda as presented.
Awesome, do I hear a second? Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of passing the consent agenda? Okay, motion passes. And public participation, we don't have any.
So, okay, we will move on. Superintendent Freeman.
Yeah, thank you. So this next topic is our student investment account annual report. Each year, superintendents around the state are to give a report and answer to 2 questions to the board and to the community, and so I'm doing that now. It's just a discussion, it doesn't require any action. First question is, as you review your progress markers, overall reflection, responses, and reflect on plan implementation, how do you see your progress contributing to the outcomes and strategies in your plan and your longitudinal performance growth targets? And so to address that, at the elementary school, we have implemented a house system, strengths-based, social emotional learning curriculum to give students a sense of community and belonging. This has helped to reduce our behavior incidents and disrupted learning. And we are seeing an increase in our regular attenders. Using our early literacy dollars, we have committed to training all K-3 staff to improve the instruction of the 5 pillars of literacy, which are phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension. The high school student success team has worked hard to support 9th grade students in their effort towards on-time graduation that exceeds stretch growth targets on the LPGTs. The second question is, where have you experienced barriers and challenges or impediments to progress towards your outcomes and strategies in your plan that you could use support with? And on that one, we are extremely proud of the efforts of our students, proud of the efforts our students make towards on-time graduation, completing at over 90% and a 5-year completion rate of 92%. And we will continue to strive to meet our LPG targets. Regular attendance continues to be a barrier for our students' success, with 64% of students district-wide attending 90% or more school days. These attendance rates can hinder our LEA outcomes as the routines, sound, spelling patterns, and phonemic awareness processes of reading require consistent practice and tiered approach to learning. So that's our official report that we're required to give. I also wanted to give you and the community just an update on, so what do we spend that money on? So that's kind of the big picture of why and what we're trying to accomplish, but how we're doing that is this bucket of money funds a music teacher at the elementary school, so we have full-time music, student services director at the elementary school, behavior evaluation specialist at the elementary school, but that person is also utilized at the high school, middle school, student services director at the high school, middle school, and technology assistant for the district. Tutoring services during the day to support students in credit recovery and intervention. It also helps provide professional development of classified staff, and we were able to add 2 additional work days for certified staff per year. And with that, that's my report on SIA.
That's awesome, thank you.
What was that look like? Attendance was, did you say 64%?
Yeah, how to calculate regular attenders, I would like to turn it over to Tammy, but honestly, it's a little bit confusing how they calculate that. So do you feel comfortable answering that, Tammy?
Sort of.
Also, just want to say that this isn't just Glide. There is a problem statewide and nationwide with attendance since COVID.
But I will say the way we calculated, our numbers are much better than the way the state calculates it.
So I was like, when our numbers, we had 90%, and it was fantastic, and then we got the state's numbers. And so it's based on students who attend to May 1st, and they've attended our district more than 70 days. So that their attendance is what goes into that bucket of regular attenders. So we have to get to May 1st and have attended in our district 70 or more days. I don't know, it's funny enough.
Which limits the pool, and that's why the
Super
numbers are
limits.
low.
So it's just You just confused me more?
Yes.
Well, okay, perfect.
You can review that at ode.com.
It's
.org, whatever. It should be
Yeah, it's not a logical way to count it. It's not, how many of our kids that are here all the time are here every day? It's how many of our kids that are here on certain times and have been here for a certain amount of time, maybe they left and now all their days are absent.
Correct.
And so if they left, if they moved away, now all their days are absent, but because they spent a criteria of
Yeah, if
time
they
here,
didn't attend more than 70 days.
Who
But if
makes,
they attended 68 days, they're out.
they're
so
out.
who is it that made this rule on the way we attend, that they count this attendance?
Department of
It's not
Education.
they,
It's the,
It's a department, yeah.
the Department of Education, of Uneducation?
That's how they measure people.
Yes, well,
Yeah, ODE.
I think maybe some of this should be looked at a little bit closer to them, so that we can actually know how many kids we got attending school, instead of some ridiculous account of
So
how
we,
many kids
So
are
both
attending.
We
principals
tracked.
monitor that
Yeah.
super close.
so we track it every single day, and we, actually last year, we put it on our reader board every day to say, hey, we are 88% here today. And just to keep that as an awareness, so people realize that missing a day of school, yeah, you can get your work, but you miss so much more than just a worksheet. You miss the discussion, you miss the interaction, and
I'm sorry to hold this up, but like you said, 64% of the student was 92% of the time, or some ridiculous thing that I could not understand. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 64% of our students attended school 90% of the time or more.
If they
So
fell
they
into the
missed less than
criteria
14 days.
of being here during the 70-day
Yes.
window. So it's
Yeah.
not even, so that number's not even truly accurate. It's sort of accurate.
It's sort of accurate.
It's
That's
not
a
even
great
in that 70 days, it's any student that attends our district 70 days or more.
So maybe think of it this way. It measures what ODE wants to measure.
Yeah.
It doesn't measure what we want to know, is are our kids in class and are they being successful? It just measures what a metric that ODE wants to know.
But does it get published?
Yes.
Yeah.
Our
That
score
was-
So I think that's my concern is, yeah, I think we have to have like also a communication. I mean, I appreciate that, like having it awareness for parents that even though that here's this number, which looks terrible, like why it has a 64% attendance rate, I mean, that makes it look like, what are you doing? You know, versus like we're communicating with parents that we've got 89, like let's get to 90, you know, whatever that is, but, you know.
Well, I'm sorry, I just, like,
I,
when he read that number off, I didn't hear anything else he said, because I'm like trying to compute that in my brain as to, what is he talking about?
So I'm just reminded of a comedy bit in a movie that said, 60% of the time it works every time. It's kind of that same.
Yes, well, it's
It's-
ridiculous that they're counting it that way,
Yeah.
and something should be done about that, whether, I just don't.
does that impact the school?
I-
At the school, does that factor into it?
Yeah, it's part of our
It's part of the
school
reading,
report.
so they look at third grade reading, fifth grade, social science, eighth grade math, ninth grade on track, 12th grade something, back to high school and I lost myself, and attendance.
So we do these graduation reports, and there's kids that don't go to our school that go against our graduation. That's a weird thing too. But that's another conversation for another day.
So I do want you to hear the positives in that though too. We are on track to graduate and our ninth grade, our 5-year completion rate. Those are all above 90%, which is phenomenal. So our attendance rate, no matter how we measure it, that's the number we have, which indicates that we need to continue to focus on that and work to improve that. But the reality is our kids are gaining access to instruction. They're on track to graduate, and our numbers are showing that they're graduating at a very high level.
I'd like to address what you said, Janet. I'm 100% behind what you had the same thought. I don't care how they calculate it or do whatever, but what I also hear is that there's nobody here that knows how to explain what that calculation is, and that's dangerous because that's, especially if it's being published, then that's putting Glide in a bad light that doesn't really exist with a normal logical computation and why John's having such a headache right now.
So I would say that it actually, and I'm not disagreeing with you, it's dumb. It's not how it should be counted. But if it's not putting Glide in a bad light, it puts all school districts in a bad light. And the larger the school district, it disproportionately works way worse because, and I don't remember how that worked, but if you've got the larger school district, the worse this formula works for you, and it makes you look really bad. And it's not fair to schools to say, well, you're graded here when you're actually not. It's a bad system.
I appreciate that, Dan. I'm gonna get on our selfish island here. This is the school that I care about the most. So I appreciate what you said, and that's even sadder.
Yeah, well, it's
so, but I think we need to possibly look at this closer for damage control.
Well, yes, and I think it also contributes. I mean, there are two sides of that also when thinking about funding. You know, on one hand, it's like, oh, schools are failing, you know, so there's that mantra. And on the other hand, oh, well, we need more assistance, so, you know, let's put more money in schools. It tends to be the lesser, you know. So I guess I just get concerned that there's narratives and stories that get put when you say, you know, Glide School District has a 64% attendance rate, and that becomes like, what are you doing? Like, why are kids coming to school? What, you know, and that's not the case. You know, what you're saying is that we're in the 90s, then that needs to be, like you said, like, how do we get that narrative out there a little bit different than this? Here's a calculation by, you know, these data points, and here's what we're actually doing. I really love this. All last week with the Oregon Health Authority on some metrics, and it's like, you're calculating it this way, and it doesn't make sense because here's the people that are getting the services, but because we can't account for it in EHR, you're basically not counting it for us. So, you know, it's a dilemma. So not that we can fix this tonight, but I just would love to have some sort of strategy around looking at the road. Like, we put something that is communication out to the community because we've seen this kind of push back when scorecards go out and everybody's like, what? Like, you know, and then we're not having, you know, people in the community just hearing that. It's just, it doesn't reflect what's really happening. So that's what I'm saying.
And Tammy, thank you for putting that up on the board. The real number, or the number that makes normal sense. So appreciate that.
I haven't done it this year. I just tracked it in my office this year because it was really disheartening. We tracked it.
Tell us
every
your
day.
average though.
I don't know the average right now.
It was 90%.
Yeah, we ended our school year at 90% of people that we counted, of the kids on that day of school that were enrolled, and that many were there. That was our average for the school year, so.
Great. And I guess this hits me a little bit hard because it was brought to my attention that October 3rd edition of the News Review posted a lot of where schools were and a lot of statistics. And yeah, I think just Oregon. Glide was just one, they didn't just pick on Glide. But I had a couple of concerned citizens saying, what's up with this? So we're working on those things. So I'm sorry I didn't bring that article, but if you're interested, you might look that up and see. But I think our strategic plan addressed every one of those things. And it's like, okay, I don't know where they got that data or when they got that data. We're working on it. So
That's a good point to that. These are last year's numbers. So I'm eagerly anticipating that our numbers are going up, just by all the other indicators that are happening this year.
and when we do the survey again, we'll know. So it's, I think, and with the positive attitude that's going around the entire district, I think you're spot on.
So maybe next year we'll work really good. That's the plan, right?
Okay, was there any more
Just
here?
a discussion.
So we are now moving on to the OSBA Board of Directors nomination that represents District 9, Douglas South Coast. And so up for that position is Jackie Crook and Stephen Hammerson. So Jackie Crook is the incumbent, and she is from the South Coast ESD. And she's been our rep for quite a while. Her challenger, Stephen Hammerson, he ran for City Council of Roseburg recently, and then he's on the Roseburg School Board. And side note, he was recalled from the Republican group, the Roseburg Republican Committee group. Big map. So our options are to vote for either one of those, or to abstain, or not to take any action at all. And so I would entertain a motion to do one of those.
I don't know enough about either candidate to say I could honestly support one or the other.
Okay.
And I looked around a little bit, but didn't find anything that was like,
Yeah.
hey, this guy or this gal values what we value. So,
Do we want to have a discussion first, kind of, and then?
So, I guess I'm curious, Tracy, because you've been on some of these meetings. I had just gone to that like roadshow a couple times, and seen documentaries presented in the whatever the conference. Like
OSBA.
OSBA. And I know that she was very active there in presenting and, fighting for the rural caucus. So from my perspective, is there any concern that had, or you, when she came up to Roseburg, she was very much like, I really want to, be engaged. I love what I'm doing, I love representing you all. So that's what she just shared. So I don't know her.
Would you like your general opinion?
I think she seems to be advocating for rural schools.
Okay.
That's what I could catch on what she was saying. And she had a conversation with Tracy and I, right?
I've talked to her several times, just even recently at the convention I just went to. So, my 2 cents would be to vote for her.
I guess my thought on that is Roseburg, well, our friendly neighbor, is not a rural school.
No, Roseburg is the
It's the only non-rural school.
school in our whole,
Yeah.
district. Or at least in the Douglas part. And I think even, the whole, like, District 9, I think Roseburg is the only one, but, yeah.
I think I need to bring it up as a point of order. I mean, we jumped into the people, but I think there's 2 questions there. And the first one is, do we want to essentially vote or not vote? And
Well,
then the second one is
four
the
options,
people.
actually.
So,
There's
well, right,
vote on people,
abstain,
or,
So do we want to have that discussion, or have we moved past that and we're already ready to, have we decided to vote and do so? And the reason I ask is because I can shed a little light on one of the people anyway. But I think we've already come to that conclusion. So,
I think you're right, Tim. We gotta make a motion to take one of the actions first, then discuss who we want to. So.
Can I ask one point of clarification at the end? Has the school board historically voted for this? That helps.
So all boards in District 9 are doing the same thing, right? So Douglas South Coast, the boards are going to be voting on who they want to represent themselves, and then the other things that are on the agenda for the OSBA. Yeah, Tim, you wanted to?
yeah, well, for the first section of this, we're deciding what we're going to do. I'd like to kind of get a better understanding of, abstaining and take no action to me is kind of the same thing. And Dan, thanks for having the historical part there that typically we put our 2 cents in. And I was kind of curious if you knew, or if anybody knows, what are the repercussions of one way or the other, whether we don't vote. If we do vote, we definitely show our support. That's a no-brainer. But what if we don't? What happens then?
So,
Is it,
one of these 2 people will be put in the position, it's just whether we want to have a say in it or not.
Right.
If we stay out of it, then we just said,
Get what we get.
we get what we get. and
Without-
We're good with either one, or we just don't care. You know, whatever that message is, that's what that would be. But one of them gets, if we abstain or if we do take no action, it goes on without us. It's not,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would move that we take a vote.
Yeah, I would, okay, so I'm entertaining a motion of one of those options.
One of those options.
So I make a motion that we, the Glide School Board as a collective, make a vote on the OSBA Board of Directors nomination.
Second that.
Great, and then you want more discussion on who we're going for?
I go with Janet said, I trust Janet, she is with it, you've got a little bit of history, so I defer to you.
Well, we need to vote on that motion first.
Oh.
Yeah. Motion
okay.
to take action.
Move it too fast.
Great, so all in favor that we're gonna vote?
I know it seems silly, but
That is the
it's
procedure.
Yep.
following Robert's rules a bit. I'm not talking about Mr. Green. So, yeah, go.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to vote for Jackie Cook. Is that where we're at?
So we would take a motion to vote for one of them, then we could discuss why or why not. So I would move that we vote for Jackie Cook for the position.
I'll second.
Okay, all of those in favor of voting for Jackie Cook?
Go ahead, discussion.
Oh, discussion? Does anybody want to talk about that? You have more you want to say?
No, it's
Okay.
already late in the
So we already had a
day.
conversation.
So, I mean, and you brought up, well, you two brought up a good point about that, Mr. Anderson is, he's not even in a rural district, so, and I know from other political things, and I cannot support it.
Okay.
Cool, all those in favor of Jackie Cook? All right, motion passes, I'll submit that vote on our behalf. And
So we rinse and repeat.
on to other fun stuff, so the first resolution, these are amendments to the OSB dues schedule. So it is voting on increasing dues. I know I sent a picture to everyone to make it easier. We are member number 4, so we have between 500 and 999 people. So this progressively goes up, just as it breaks it down into 24, 25 dues, 25, 26, on up through 30, 31, where it does increase every year. If everybody's looking at it.
Yeah, someone who's bring that in, that's another topic. But what, do you know what our dues, what did we pay for 23, 24?
I don't have one number off the top of my head.
Oh, come on.
So my hunch, so the 24, 25 dues for us would be 14, 20, 50, so 1,420. So I'm guessing it's a little bit less than that. The increases look like they're kind of about $200 every year is what it's kind of projecting to be. So I know there was a report out that says rural districts actually utilize OSBA way more than bigger districts do. I do think they're a good resource, but I definitely want to have the conversation with y'all, right? So this is important stuff.
I
So,
have a question
yeah,
that I could pertain before we decide to even vote or not.
yeah, first thing will be.
I would like to hear from you and Superintendent Freeman on, simply put, is this expenditure worthwhile? And what do we get out of it?
Go first.
Please and thank you.
I absolutely think it's a good investment. If for nothing else, the legal access to the legal advice, we exceed whatever dollar figure. If you're talking in the low $1,000 range, we exceed that early in the school year. Besides that, the advocacy that they do at the legislation level and with the governor is well worth our membership. This year, they are very instrumental in where the governor is going to start with her budget for education, and there's a strong sense that that number is going to go up significantly. And so I think just their advocacy they have. And you guys just went through a benefit that they have with our policy manual. So they offer a lot of stuff to small districts. And I think I would echo that. I do think smaller school districts probably take more advantage of what OSBA has to offer because they don't have the resources that larger districts do. So I think it's money well spent.
Thank you.
That's my 2 cents also, and being part of the Rural Caucus. There's merit in that we now have a voice at the legislature and gonna bring attention to our needs. Where the majority of the districts in Oregon are rural districts, so.
I don't always agree with OSBA.
No, totally get it.
As a board, you always have the right to not agree with OSBA.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and I will add at the first meeting that I went to, so the new director will present, and the issue that they have is that they have a budget, they're projecting a significant budget. And they did say, like, I mean, we were one of the districts that took advantage of the policy rewrite. Personally, it frustrates the heck out of me that we're making the small districts pay the amount that they are, and so that's a tough pill to swallow because this is historically what they do, and so it's just reflection. And Roseburg was very strongly not in favor of this. I heard that loud and clear. They're like, the bigger school districts have more money, they can pass bonds. Have you approached them to ask them if they're willing to pay this increase, like will they pay additional revenue? They hadn't done that, so there was frustration. But I agree. I mean, from a cost benefit standpoint, this is like worth it. And I'm just philosophically, I'm frustrated that this is the structure that they go with. So
Totally get that. And so this will be before every single school board in Oregon that's has membership with the OSBA.
Although we're not losing without, if we vote against it, they still have their previous budget.
My hunch is it's gonna pass, and we're still gonna have to pay them.
What's that?
Or opt out, and I would never
Sure.
recommend it.
No,
Yeah,
no.
but even if it doesn't pass, OSBA is not going away. It's still gonna be there.
they will cut. I mean, they'll
They
have
will
to.
cut, and I've really never seen that hurt any organization.
Well, but it will be cut to, I mean, legal is expensive, and so that's my concern, that one of the
Yeah.
quickest areas that they'll be able to balance their budget is to reduce the attorney.
Which would be,
Which would really impact us.
yeah.
So I think that was my, I mean, I agree with you, John. I
Well,
was
only
like-
possibly because you also get to vote on what item, I mean, you get to vote for the people that are gonna decide what to cut. I mean, that's what we're doing here.
No, not what they're gonna,
You vote for the people that run it.
right.
Yes, those are the
These
people that are gonna
tiers.
cut different items if you do not increase their budget.
We won't be, but they'll make those decisions as an
The
organization.
people that we vote for would,
Correct.
or that get voted in office.
So it'll be the executive portion of the board and then all the
Right, so, I mean, not voting to increase their budget is not going to eliminate, you know, what we get out of it. It might cut it or not, but, I mean, it's not like we're gonna lose it if we vote against it, what I'm saying. We're not gonna lose all the benefits that they do for us if we don't increase their budget.
We're not increasing their budget. Their budget has a shortfall. That's what the dilemma is. Their budget has a shortfall. They were clear, they have not raised dues in
25 years?
25
Yeah.
years.
Some ridiculous.
So it's been
I mean-
a long, long time gone. And so that was the issue, is that they were like, we've kept it at this, we've provided these services, and now we can't sustain the budget because of increased salary costs, increased administration, all of the things that, you know, most organizations deal with. And they're saying, would you all entertain increasing the amount that you're contributing? And that's really what we put forward for everybody to consider. And to Robert's point, when you think about what we would have to pay for an attorney outside of the district, this is like pennies on the dollar, you know, for those services. And to have a contractor be able to rewrite policies and all of that, those are not cheap things to have done, or having to have staff, you know, be pulled out of other things. So I agree. I don't like how they're doing it. I'm still saying that. I do not like that they're making the smaller districts pay more without talking to larger districts, but yet I also feel like without that increase, we could lose some significant resources that we've had access to historically.
Okay, so I think I would entertain a motion to decide if we're abstaining, taking no action, or we're
I would like to make a motion.
okay.
I move that the Glide School Board adopt Resolution 1 that amends the OSBA due schedule as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, any more discussion?
I'm in the same place, I don't like it, but I understand it, so.
You're here.
It's,
And it seems to be pennies on the dollar, like
it's,
Janet said.
I think maybe if we're not already, maybe we can squeeze some other service out of OSBA to make it worthwhile.
I'm pretty sure we'll get our $1,400 out of it.
We do, yeah.
Sometimes it's good for organizations to like come into line, but, you know, I just don't think it's always great, always good.
Okay, all those in favor of adopting the resolution to amend the due schedule? Okay, motion passes, right? Oh, well, I know, but it's still,
Okay. Right.
okay. All right. On to the next resolution. OSB Resolution 2 creates the Oregon School Board Members Pride Caucus and designates a seat on the OSBA Board of Directors and Legislative Policy Committee.
I am happy to share some of the conversation
Yeah.
first. So at there was a lot of discussion, and again, this was all local school districts that came, I think, Glendale, Lewiston, Grossburg. There was like a couple other ones that I don't remember who all attended. The overall concern that was voiced was, yes, their support of thinking about, in general support for students, but the cost of having the caucus is substantial. And when you have an environment where you're asking, that they're saying that there's a budget deficit to create another caucus, also didn't seem like a prudent decision from a financial standpoint. So several of the other folks, school board members voiced that to them and just said, okay, you're asking, on one hand you're asking us to increase these, on the other hand they're asking us to then create another caucus.
Caucuses get 25,000 a year fiscal budget.
And so I think that the overall consensus was there a way to come back maybe and think about this differently than creating a caucus? And also there was some concern that this, the board is already like 30-some people or some darn number like that. I don't have those notes with me. I did not grab them because I didn't get those in time originally. So, but it's substantial. It becomes a board that's almost unmanageable.
It is, and there's lots of contention and issues in the board. And each president of a caucus has a place in that, just like a district rep does. So say that. So it does bring, and it's already being involved with the rural caucus and working with the color caucus, and it's already a challenge with how big the leadership piece is becoming.
So I mean, I'll just say that I think that, for the Pride Caucus themselves, they also talked about, that this was also to support school board members. And I was just at a presentation last week with the superintendent of Ashland School District, who is an open gay superintendent that said, like, this is the first time that he's come to a school district where he has felt like he could be himself. That, part of the reason why they wanted to create this caucus was so that it would also support superintendents and board members, and, because of that. So for me, it's a tough balance, because on one hand, I feel strongly about, the support for the individuals, and on the other, it's like financially and also just structurally, is this the best to go about things? So for me personally, I would like to take no action, because I think that this is just really loaded in so many different ways.
So I'm against it, but for maybe reasons that a few people will understand and know. Procedurally, it doesn't make sense. We have a board of the OSBA Directors Board has too many people in it now. It's too watered down now to be functional. That's one of my concerns about giving them money, is they're non-functional now. And right? And so it needs to be made up of groups that represent districts and regions, not identities. It's not made for, and it's not to take away from identities. That's not what this form of Republican setup is set up to do. It needs to be representatives of groups and areas, not individuals, because they're making decisions for groups and areas, not making individuals. That's a different group. They have a different avenue for that. That's a whole different thing. So this has nothing to do with the title of the group. This is just procedurally. This doesn't make sense. This isn't where they should have a vote. There's a lot of groups at this table that shouldn't have a vote. It should be about 9 groups. It needs to be a functional, we need to pare this down back to functional that gets benefit back to school districts across the state, not individuals that have a need someplace. That's not what this was designed to do. And so I'm actually against it for that reason. This isn't where this belongs. This is why I don't support necessarily giving the OSBA more money, because this doesn't, this isn't the place for it. Like, this isn't the table that they need to be at, right? And not any one identity should be there. This is groups of people. This is rural schools. This is metro schools. This needs to have this is the 30,000 foot view, and it's so far away from that now that I just can't support putting anything else there. If it was the loggers committee, I would be against that. Like, it's not. This isn't where that vote should be.
I agree with you, Dan, and I thought that was a solid way of thinking, and then saw that there's a color caucus. Well, if I got to vote for that, that I would have voted against that as well, because it's a specialty group. That's, and that's not, I don't see that's what the whole caucus thing is about. Like you said, it is for, you need to be representing the school district. It's about school districts. It's not about certain ideals or specialty groups. There's another word for that, and I had it earlier today, but I lost it. So I'm sorry about that. And I think that there's other venues that these specialty groups can get vetted. Again, you know, like you said, nothing against either of them, but there is a place for that, and this is not it.
This is not that table.
Right. So actually, I'm for voting for not adopting.
I move that the Gillette School Board does not adopt Resolution 2 to create the Oregon School Board Member Pride Caucus and designate a seat on the BA Board of Directors and legislative policy as presented.
Second.
Okay, all those in, yeah, do we want to talk about it more?
Well, actually, I do.
Okay.
I want to make sure that in our vote, it's very understood, because this is a touchy subject. And I don't want it misconstrued that we have
That we're discriminating, is that what you're
Yes.
trying to say?
Yeah. Well,
I love track. My favorite sport. I would support the track caucus. This isn't about individuals and things that people, this needs to be about districts and bigger picture stuff, because we have big picture problems with funding and policy, and that's what the OSBA is for.
Right.
This isn't the place, this isn't the table for that. There's lots of tables for that, but this one structurally just isn't it.
And I'm sorry to even bring that point out, but it seems like in today's society, we're walking on eggshells with a lot of this stuff. And I'm too old or whatever to walk on eggshells anymore. So, and I think that that's a reasonable and logical conclusion that we reach. So, it has nothing to do with anything else.
Yeah, and I will echo that I have fiscal concerns about stretching an already stretched budget, and we don't have a guarantee. There's talk on the streets we're gonna get more money, but, you know, that's, right? So,
But it's only thought.
So just because I'm, just in terms of like that qualifying, I don't know how that gets communicated. So I don't know if that's if we add due to or in because of, you know, that structurally we're not in agreement, or fiscally and structurally that we're not in agreement. So that's really the foundation of what we're talking about. So that is what is true, not that we're not in support of anything that's being conceptual.
Absolutely.
That's just, because that, like I said, that's where it gets like a match, like you're saying. It becomes this very complicated conversation. And so maybe if we could just have that noted as well, that these are the conversations that we have in reasons well. Recognizing.
absolutely.
And my main concern was our community, that they all know why we're making these decisions.
So would we say something due to the fiscal and structural organization of the resolution? Brett?
You would have to change the motion to do that. I say we just vote it down and that's that. But that's my opinion. And we don't have to make no excuse for our vote.
It's a thumb up or thumb down. Okay, well, so it used to be, I haven't seen the new, when I used to enter this, it was moving on like, it was like a survey monkey thing. And you just click the button. There was no room for live. You just hit do not approve.
Okay.
So I believe if it hasn't changed, you'll get or the board should receive a,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a little,
yeah,
that's it.
and it just goes away. And then
Okay.
screenshot I sent everybody, that's what I will
Okay.
go in and. Exactly like you said.
I'm confident the community knows our hearts and know what this is about, and if somebody wants to talk to me about it,
Right.
happy to talk about the Constitution and things, but.
Yes,
Not
and if
too
you
many people
understand the
are.
structure of OSBA, you would totally understand why we're just like,
Yeah, I would also take a motion tonight to, immediately cut the directors back to 9 where they started. Like, it's 30-some members. It's not functional.
no, the drama that goes on is,
Yeah. Has nothing to do with what this OSBA was set up to do, which, anyhow, that's a bigger OSBA conversation.
And Mike, actually was just, if it's memorialized in our record, that's good. I wasn't saying, we need to write a dissertation. That's the vote. So,
okay, so okay, so all those in favor of not adopting resolution 2? Aye. Motion passes. Okay.
So this one's quick.
And then there's another one.
So this one is the proposed amendment that, it's the amendment to the charter that adopts the previous resolution.
Right.
So if we went no on that one, we'd be no on this one.
Yeah.
It would be weird to be,
Agreed.
yeah. Unless you want to confuse everybody, you'd be like, no on this one, but yes on this one.
Right, so, I mean.
yeah, let's throw it back at him with a
Yeah,
little
so-
intended statement. Let's
So
continue.
you go ahead.
Okay.
Fair game.
Does anybody need to have, I'll entertain a motion that we're voting not to take.
I move that the Glyde School Board does not adopt Resolution 3 to adopt the proper proposed amendments to the OSBA bylaws as presented.
Do I hear a
Second, sorry.
All right. Do we need any further discussion about that? Okay, all those in favor? Motion passes. All right. Mr. Freeman.
Okey-dokey. I'll try to be quick here. Okay, first thing, I want to let you and the public know that on Tuesday, let me back up a little bit. We are migrating to a new communication platform for our school closures and kind of emergency notifications. And on Tuesday, November 26th, around 2:30 p.m., we'll be testing that new system. And it's a system through Parent Square. And families can anticipate getting 2 notifications. We'll send out information ahead of time, the principals will follow up. If somebody didn't get 2 notifications, then we'll figure out why, so we can test drive that. Thankfully, we didn't miss the opportunity to test that. We almost did with this bomb that came in, but we'll be testing that soon, so pretty optimistic that this will be better received than our current form of notification. Second thing, I just want to direct you to the, in your packet, Principal Beard put a timeline of the bus incident yesterday. As I alluded to, informed you guys last night, there was a negative Facebook thread that was going around that had inaccurate information. Principal Beard and I will address that with the 2 individuals that were negative on there. The takeaway from that, we reviewed that thread, the 3 of us reviewed that thread today. There was so many more positive things about our district in there. And it's just human nature for Ms. Beard, myself. We focus on the negative ones because that was the ones like, how dare they say that? But really, if we focus on all the positive stuff, the community really got and appreciated what we did for those kiddos, just like you guys acknowledged tonight. Okay, third one is just I want to plant a seed, only because there's been a significant number of people who have asked me about the school board start time, and if the board would consider changing that to 6 o'clock. Some things they've been bringing to my attention. I don't know if that was the case tonight, but often you'll see that the little kids during SB times are not present, and families start bedtime rituals earlier, and the 7 o'clock interferes with that. I've had staff people ask me about if the board would consider changing that. We have many staff people who do not live in the district, so for them to leave the district, go home, and then come back, kind of limits their participation in board meetings. I've had enough people ask me about that I would like to at least roll that over to you for your consideration. The last thing I have is I sent out a while ago a query of I need 2 board members to be part of the facilities and bond committee, and then 2 for future bargaining coming up. We have $80,000 of grants that are just sitting there that I really need. I need 2 of you to engage in. I did send out a contract from our architect to all of you to look over and get feedback, and I haven't received any feedback yet. So if you could move that maybe to the top of your to-do list, I would greatly appreciate that. Pardon?
I'm willing to do that.
Yeah, I'll cut the chair out of there. And with that, that's my report.
Awesome, thank you. I also volunteer to be on one of those committees. If anybody else is interested.
Yes, I have interest, but I need to get a little better idea of what the time constraints are and then, so.
Okay.
You just tell me when and I'll make time. Now, the hunting season's over.
Facilities committee, we're behind the ball on that one right now. Bargaining one, we're still in preparation for that. I don't know when I historically entered into that, but typically that's, later this week.
I think Tim was part of that.
I was
Oh, the
nominated
bargaining.
basically for marketing.
Yeah, I have experience.
Okay, Janet, what were you going to?
Oh, yeah, so 2 things you brought up. So one was with Harrisburg. I thought they were going to get access and inhabitants.
I almost texted John before I brought that up. Because I haven't followed up with him. And Shelley, I don't know if so the board members don't have access to Parent Square. So is there a way we can get their emails on those notifications when we do a district-wide notification? It should be pretty easy, right?
Send John an email right now.
Yeah. I knew, Director Holland, you never forget something. I knew you were going to ask me that.
I write notes to myself.
Thank you for that reminder. You do need to be on that.
Okay, does anybody else have any updates or?
Oh, I do. Do we have financial?
Oh, yeah, right, sorry. Yes.
I'll make it quick. I just wanted to say I feel like we're holding steady on our budget, and that's thanks to our team being careful with spending because we're on tight budget this year. So I just appreciate everybody being diligent with that. And then I did also, since I missed October's meeting, I just wanted to mention that we did have the auditors in the district in September for 4 days, and then they continued to reach out for a while with information, but I feel like everything's going all fast, so we should have our audit and a report from the auditor in January. And again, that I just want to thank our district office staff again, Rebecca Dozier, Jamie Markley, Tracy Powell, Jan LaRue, Robert, for all the things they do to keep us fiscally, helps keep us fiscally strong, and then also our admins and our office managers, following the processes. It made the audit go very smoothly. So thank you to all of you.
That's it.
Great job.
Yeah, that's awesome news.
Yeah, remember, don't feel too bad about her missing the last meeting because she was at a luau in Hawaii.
Oh, what? That's way better than what I was doing. Still with someone in crisis. And go Debs, right? Okay. I think we're on to individual board member reports.
Couple things. First, Ms. Anderson's here, I just wanted 2 points. I ran into a student the other day who happens to be, she's his favorite teacher, and he gave some great reasons why, so well done, she makes history awesome. And, but in that conversation, he said, oh, you're Dan Metz, and he mentioned that, you're on the school board. And it just occurred to me over the years I've been here, I don't remember ever knowing anybody on a school board, but what's fun is our kids know who we are, and it's just anecdotal. I don't know what it means. It's just neat that our kids know, hey, you're on the school board, and most kids just don't care, right? But in our community, our kids do, so I appreciate that, and I appreciate hearing about history class, which is exciting, fun. And he didn't like school before, but now he does, so well done.
That's great.
Awesome. I was gonna bring up the bicycle pedestrian corridor deal. I'd like to go to that. We have the board, nobody cares.
Yeah,
and get a little input and see what we can, there's some improvements that can happen at Glide that I'd like to see federal highway money attached to. So, and I wanted to, I don't know if Camp really want to miss, sorry I was late, highways and stuff, but did we talk about Glide cross country going to state? And I just wanted to, we kind of didn't, it kind of went to the wayside because fall sports were kind of not super eventful, but, you know, Coach Groff took them back to state again, like 2 times in the 5 years they've existed, or 6, I mean, that's a pretty stellar accomplishment for Glide that field. I think they got 12th this year in the state, but that's a big deal for Glide to go to state. Awesome. That's not with our district, that's with all the schools in the state, so it's a different competition level. So anyway, just recognize Coach Groff for the cross country race.
Very cool, yes.
Dan, can I ask, is that bicycle initiative, is that the same, you spoke about several months ago with improvements to Bobcat Lane? Is that fall into that?
So it has the ability to tie in some things. It's a big initiative it's a giant initiative that includes the entire road on block corridor. So it's all the way, so it's all the highways I manage, so, you know, all of 62, 230, 138. But the point of it is to improve bike and ped access to those corridors. And so the bulk of that money is going to be spent in just a few places where there's, we can't widen Highway 138 from here to Diamond Lake, it's not going to happen. So the bulk of that money is going to be used in the small urban areas. And Roseburg's getting a bunch of money. You'll see big improvements coming to the Diamond Lake Boulevard corridor, sidewalks and things all the way up to Sunshine. There's lots of stuff coming there. Wow. And you know, there's a bunch of stuff I'd like to see and get our name in the hat for. Federal highway grants are just kind of a shotgun approach, and you see what sticks. But I've got a list of pet projects I'd like to see. Bike path extended down to Dollar General, from Dollar General down to, you know, the restaurants. You know, we've got plenty of room. We have the right of way in the back of the guardrail, that could happen. We've got sidewalk improvements. We have the elementary school. We've got, it's just a ton of things right here that I got a list of transportation related things that I'd like to go and advocate for us. Awesome. And I'm disconnected because it's not my area for ODOT, so go to table for Glide and not.
Perfect.
Yeah, so.
I would like to see all this.
That's what I do. May not get anything, but you know, if you don't ask, it's a grant process. With Federal Highway, they have a weird, well, it's not weird. They have a unique process where they're looking for a right-sized grant. They don't want it too little, and they don't want it too much. And so, once you figure out what kind of grant, what size they're approving, maybe you get 5 little things. Maybe you can't get little things. They want a couple of big things to put the name on. But, you know, whatever we bring to light would be good. And if we can attach to school safety, you know, kids' safety, and we got to buy to the table, so
That's awesome.
I'd like to go.
Cool. And like you said, if we don't ask.
If we don't ask,
There's
you
always
just,
no.
yeah, the answer's always no, so. That's what that's about.
Yeah. Awesome. Anybody else?
So I just really want to thank Robert and Tammy and Carrie for the time I did go and got to spend half a day going to the high school. And I want to shout out to Mrs. Anderson. Also, I got to sit and do trivia in the class, and I will say that the only trivia question that I knew for sure I was a little bit embarrassed to say, and that was, what is both a makeup and a type of wine? And of course I knew that. It's Lush, if you didn't know that. It's Lush.
There you go.
The class
Makes sense.
appreciates you knowing that, I was like,
So you got the point. It was incredible. I'll start at the high school. So at the high school, just seeing the students walking by and talking with everybody, going into the Spanish class was just, I also got put on the spot there, which I did not appreciate because I'm not rude, but I had like itty-bitty bit of Spanish. So that was amazing, and just being able to see the classrooms, being able to talk. It was funny though, Robert didn't know like how that, when we were talking about Mrs. Cole, like, you know, she had both of my kids like for years. And it was really fun because she also remembered something that I had done. I didn't realize on you when the kids were in school. I didn't remember that, you know. She's like, oh, that was amazing. So it was, that part was really great to see, and I got to embarrass my nephew a little bit, which also was a little bit of fun in that class. And then going to the elementary school, it was, so for those who don't know, I had the opportunity to work both in a high school and in an elementary school when I was doing direct clinical work, and I love the high school because I love the energy and the excitement, but honestly, I love the elementary school more because the kids come up and they give you hugs, and they're excited, and they want to be there. And that was when I walked in, it was just that there was just so much amazing energy, and honestly, I was not aware about the kids in the classroom, Tammy, and that was also very insightful to know the level of students that are in the district that are receiving intensive services from those teachers and instructional aides, and the incredible job. And so everywhere I walked around, there was, you know, somebody talking and interacting with the student, and it was just this really great environment to be in. You could just see that in the students, and they're all excited. That day, whoever was in the league changed houses, and so there was a lot of like wahoos. So it was just really amazing. So I would encourage the rest of you, if you haven't had a chance to just be able to take that time to do it. That really helped me, and it was a lot of fun, and just a reminder also. I mean, I know why we're doing this, but it was also just really reinforcing that. So thank you. I also got to see Robert and like what you get to do when there's like weird things that happen on the school district property, and so yeah.
So I'll tell all of you, like I told Jen, this is a non-script
Yeah.
thing. I will never put on a dog and pony show for you. What you see is what's happened, and you're gonna see a lot of great things, but you're gonna see some real life things too. And Jen got to see some real life things.
Don't go into those details because maybe they should. Did a good job on that. So just my appreciation and thanks for that time. It was great, and it also I also will call out my music class, and I've just been doing a lot of work around especially students with autism spectrum disorder, and to see the music teacher with the kindergartners and that neuro development, and just like them being able to sit and then use drumsticks without beating each other, you know, all of those things was just really great to see. So kudos to everyone, and huge appreciation and thanks for that. And it, you know, it was a great day, and I'm happy, and I was also just reinforcing what I said, to be able to be in that environment and see kids that I know, and also being able to interact.
I have one thing. I got approached by a community member and asked, did I know the new principal, Carrie? Not as well as I should. I said, why? And he said, well, my daughter thinks he's freaking awesome. So, and she apparently did not have a good year last year. So she's having a good year this year. So thank you for that. I wasn't sure what I was going to unload asking that, but I personally appreciate having that kind of feedback. So whatever you're doing,
hopefully they're all that positive. Can't guarantee that.
Keep up the good work. So.
I just want to thank everyone, if there's anyone here that participated in the survey, which we're going to be shutting down as soon as this is over. The last time I checked it, we had a pretty good response from faculty and staff, and a pretty good community response. And Robert, thank you for completing your section. And yeah, we're going to collect all that data. I did read some interesting feedback that some folks wondered why we were doing it this way and why we weren't talking directly to staff members and students. And I hope folks realize that this is the most efficient way to reach as many people as possible and elicit like uninhibited feedback, and that it's not feasible to talk directly to every single staff member. And I would never put the kids on the spot like that and make them feel uncomfortable, or staff for that matter too. Like, I want people to be able to say what they want to say. So, so I'm just explaining us a little bit why we went that route. We figured it would be easiest for everyone. Less trees to chop down with the paper, and so that's my 2 cents about that.
So, you did, Robert, you did ask about entertaining that idea about moving in the time. I don't know how many people felt about that. I don't know why we went to 7. I mean, it is.
I think we have just done it because it was always at 7.
One of those sort of things we do it because we've always done it.
Yeah.
No, it was, so.
Yeah.
As the keeper of the history.
Good grief, I'm gonna come in with a cane and like a Gandalf. I need a Gandalf. We met at 6. There were folks that were driving from town, couldn't make it at 6 because of work stuff necessitated it moving to 7. So we had met at 6 in the past.
Okay.
We just moved it to 7 because board structure at the time, you couldn't make it at 6.
What if we split the difference? Went to 6:30.
I'm good at 6. If we can all make it at 6, it's the board now, right? So whatever we can do, I'm good at 6.
Oh, you bring up a valid point, though. I mean,
Yeah, it's solid. I understand. And there's the other pieces. We have basketball games and stuff that you want to get to, and if they want to come here, you know, get this out of the way, go there to the game. You know, we're a busy community, and if we can accommodate a different time slot that helps everybody get to everything, then
maybe we should send out a survey.
minute by minute, like, so you want us to meet at 6:27? 6:23.
That is the way it's gonna happen. People are either going to not, want to be back at 7 or back at 6.
Yeah.
To me, it is not going to matter, whatever time.
I mean, we could send out a survey.
I mean,
I
in
did get a
reality.
membership for a month, so.
In reality, the people that are here right now are the ones that are making the decision and the ones that need to be here.
Yes.
If a community member wishes to be here, they should make the time to get here. I don't think we should, schedule it so that we're not gonna be here, or it puts us in a bad situation for somebody that may or may not show up. So,
We would only move it if it benefited the board that has.
exactly.
Yeah, so,
Yes,
but if we can, if it's better for us to move it 6, I think. is what
It
we're-
does not matter to me,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's for us, and if you guys would prefer to have it at 6, I'm all for it.
Well, if we started at 6,
I'm
it's
hoping
gonna
we
be
don't-
much harder to end at midnight.
Well, I'm hoping that we don't want to start it at 9 at night, that's my.
I would support moving it to 6, so we're out of here early.
Me too.
Okay.
There are-
Because it's the keeper of the history.
Yeah, there are times it's gonna be a challenge for meetings, but I will make it recovery.
Obviously, there will be problems for Dan also, because it was at 7 and he was still late.
I know.
True.
Yeah,
True.
yeah,
The clock is irrelevant in my world, it just kind of floats there. It's on highway time.
For Robert's point, it's part of what we are doing is recognizing the kiddos, and I think that's also,
Yeah.
it's being respectful. If it doesn't, if we can all make it, and if it's.
I would love to have it be earlier.
Will you entertain a motion?
I don't know if it requires a motion.
Procedural, we shouldn't have.
It just sounded fun.
Right.
And
I
formal.
will entertain it.
And that works for the staff.
No, I don't know that it's under motion that we have it at 7, and I don't believe that we should make it in motion now, because if we want to change it, then we've got to have another motion.
Okay, then we'll go
So
7.
I'd say that the best idea would be just to schedule them
Okay.
and
Wait.
post it.
Yeah, I propose we check it out, see
Starting
how it
next-
goes.
Move to 6.
Starting next week.
Or to say a pilot program.
Pilot program.
Let's try a
starting
pilot
at
program at
6.
6 o'clock meetings. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't,
Merry Christmas. December, you want to start the December meeting?
Sure.
Okay.
Which is a week earlier. It's the second.
Right, so let's really screw them up.
Okay.
So we'll make sure we, because
Week
we're
earlier,
changing
an
that,
hour earlier.
we'll make sure we send out a couple notifications. so
Okay.
that people know.
Some parents swear we won't get it.
You guys, everybody else will.
We'll get Dan reminding us.
Okay, we probably need to go because I'm.
Oh, we still.
Thank you guys for that.
I'll turn the.
Yeah. Okay, so, meeting adjourned. And now we're gonna do more meeting.
So Jen, I just want to say, it's neat that when you go to elementary school, kids are like running up and hugging you. I have a different experience. It's like kids run into corners, hiding. Squatch has entered the room like,
So the school board will now meet in executive session, the
No, we
executive.
won't.
What? I suppose we'll give you a small bath.
You're on your own for locking that.
Okay. Would you do me a favor and just,
I'll turn all the outside doors.
okay, actually, I think we can lock those outside doors,
Yeah,
Brent.
I'll turn those, and I'll do this one too.
Okay, thank you, Brent. Good night.
yeah, you're supposed to go